Elections in India are in full swing. As 18th Lok Sabha elections are taking place, approximately 968 million are registered voters. Out of them, 470 million are women. 18 million are the ones who are casting their votes for the very first time in India. There is a rough approximation that this election activity would cost $10 to $12 billion to India. There are over 100 registered political parties in India, and the electoral system is a bit complex, as elections are being held in 7 different phases till June 1st, and the results would be announced on June 4th. Till now, in the first 3 phases, the turnout has been almost 5 percentage points lower than in 2019 elections. The turnout in India has traditionally hovered around 60%. India has first passed the post-poll system, which means the contestant securing the highest number of votes is declared the winner, whether or not he or she gets the majority of votes polled in a constituency. And according to the electoral experts and pundits, the BJP, the Bharatiya Janata Party, is in a stronger position vis-a-vis the opposition that lacks a cohesive and a strong narrative to counter BJP's electoral prowess, expansive agenda, and above all, forceful narrative. There are 2 main blocks. One is NDA, that is National Democratic Alliance, led by the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and the other one is India Alliance, that is India National Democratic Inclusive Alliance, led by Rahul Gandhi. India Alliance is an alliance of 26 political parties in India. Rahul Gandhi, the main opposition leader, claims that this is not an ordinary election, as it's not an election between the incumbent political party and the opposition. Rather, it's an election between India and Modi, as Modi is eyeing to secure 400 seats in a 543 members Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Indian Parliament. A supermajority would allow the Sangh Parivar to formally replace the so-called liberal, secular and socialist elements of the Ambedkar drafted constitution with the ideas of Savarkar and Golwalkar. It's an election against the ones who are destroying the secular constitution and democracy in India. If Modi wins, which surely he will, it would officially mark the end of Indian democracy. Mind you, no Prime Minister since Jawaharlal Nehru in India's political history has enjoyed 3 consecutive terms in Prime Minister office, and Narendra Modi is all set to join this Nehru's feat. If we talk about the role of the Indian media in these elections, the Modi's government totally controls the media. Therefore, the BJP enjoys the support of an uncritical and a friendly media, thereby having an upper hand in elections. To cite an example, Reporters Without Borders ranked India at 161 out of 180 countries on its Press Freedom Index in 2023, the country's lowest position ever. The disinformation campaign is relentlessly carried out 24/7 by news channels, often dubbed as Godi media. Not only this, the spread of fake news and Modi's projection as the savior of Hindu nationalism and supremacy is also rampant through Modi's WhatsApp University. And just like media, Narendra Modi over the years has systematically and willfully hollowed out core constitutional institutions of India, mainly the Indian Parliament, the Indian Judiciary, and above all, the Independent and Autonomous Election Commission of India. The election commissioners were handpicked by Mr. Modi, and the favor is returned by the refusal to name him as a violator of election laws that bar communal targeting. There are also some other grave and harsh realities that often go unnoticed due to India's GDP growth and also due to New Delhi's bonhomie relations with the West. The number of people below the poverty line had increased. The country added 75 million people to the world's poor in 2021 alone. Voters are identifying rising inflation, income inequality, and unemployment as their main concerns in this election, while the inauguration of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya at the place of Babri Masjid has failed to impress them. Inequality is a record 100 years high. The top 1% of the Indians control nearly 23% of the country's national income and hold a staggering 40% of the country's wealth, according to the World Inequality Lab. In per capita income terms, India ranks at a dismal 143rd in the world. This underscores the stark reality of growing inequality in India and shows the aspirations to merely raise the GDP only. India has seen more internet shutdowns than any other country in the last decade. Human Rights Group, they allege the climate has deteriorated under Modi. They point to a rise in hate speech, the revocation of Muslim majority, Kashmir's special status, a citizenship law that the United Nations calls fundamentally discriminatory in nature, and above all, the demolition of Muslim mosques and properties in the name of removing illegal construction. Muslims are no longer safe in India as they are openly targeted, manhandled, persecuted, and mob lynched. One BJP speaker urged Hindus to emulate what Myanmar had done to the Rohingya Muslims and cleanse India of Muslims. Another one declared, if 100 of us are ready to kill 2 million of them, then we will win and make India a Hindu nation. Unfortunately, neither the state nor the central government condemned the remarks. In the national capital, New Delhi, police silently witnessed street marches by militant Hindutva organizations, with activists shouting slogans against Muslims. They said, if you wish to live in this country, you must say Jai Shri Ram. They said, when we slaughter the mullahs, then they will scream Jai Shri Ram, which is quite unfortunate. And if we talk about the access to the state resources by the competing political parties in this election, the BJP surely enjoys the disproportionate access to the state resources. To cite an example, the crackdown on leaders of the opposition parties launched just before the elections, implicating them in corruption and criminal cases, is aimed at demoralizing their support bases. Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of New Delhi and head of the Aam Aadmi Party, which is an influential and a performing regional political party which successfully ran a welfare-centric governance model in New Delhi. He was arrested. He was arrested just before the elections, and the Enforcement Directorate had done it under the influence of Narendra Modi. Thereby, BJP denies the level playing field in this election. Lastly, the BJP's elections manifesto, it envisions a larger role for India in global politics. And there is a strong likelihood that the BJP would continue its aggressive and illegal hostile campaigns to carry out state-sponsored terrorism and extrajudicial killings on foreign soil, of which Pakistan, Canada, and the United States have been the targets so far.